Well, hello guys, how are you doing? My name is Gaspar, and today my team with Carlo Bianconi and Sebastian Barroso, we're gonna be talking about case 38, which is given by the textbook about Baker Adhesives. So I'm gonna talk about how profitable is the original sale once the exchange rate are acknowledged, and how might the exchange rate risk which affected the order value have been managed. So the very important thing to understand is the company is getting paid in Brazilian currency. They are trying to convert the Brazilian currency to US dollars. So we will be using the bid price for the conversion, first of all. So based on the original exchange rate agreed by both firms in February, the exchange that they were going to use in order for the calculations of the cost of the order was of 0.4636, which at the moment seemed fair for both companies because was the market price, which led the company Baker Adhesives to charge the Brazilian firm a total of 109,081 Brazilian reals, or 50,000 estimated, which was giving Baker Adhesives a total profit of 6,000 US dollars and a profit margin of 13%. Nevertheless, in September of 2006, at the time of the payment for the first order, the exchange rate conditions had worsened for the American firm, as the new exchange rate in September for US dollar to Brazilian currency was at 0.4234. This resulted in a loss of profits for the company. Given the original agreement that stated that the Brazilian firm had to pay a total of 109,000 Brazilian reals, the company would now lose part of the profit margins. So we did the calculations, and if we convert the 109,000 Brazilian reals to US dollars, given the exchange rate that I told you, this would give the American firm Baker Adhesives a total revenue of $646,000, resulting in a total profit after covering expenses and costs of 2,921 US dollars, and a profit margin of only 5.77%. This is less than half of what they were expecting, and is largely lower than the expected of 13%, or 6,000 US dollars of profit. All of this could have been avoided by the American firm by maybe managing or setting an adjustable price per gallon based on the changes in the exchange rate, which should adjust to the rate of the market at the time of the payment of the order. This way, Baker Adhesive could have been able to manage the risk of worsening exchange risk conditions for them, and able to maintain their required levels of profit. Nevertheless, this is not a great deal for Novo, because this could face them with higher prices in the future given the exchange rate, which is why we believe the best option for both companies is to move forward with either a hedge in the forward market or a hedge in the money markets, which avoids them the price conflict with Novo and allows them to protect their profit margins in the future for both sides, and it's a deal that will work for both sides.
Hi, my name is Sebastian Barroso, and I'm going to be talking about questions number 2 and 3 of our Baker Adhesives case study. For question number 2, we were required to determine the present value of future cash flows depending on 3 different cases for Baker Adhesives. In the first case, we would not do any type of hedge. In case number 2, the company would hedge using a forward contract. And for the third case, we would be using, or the company would be hedging through the money market. For our first case, the hedge position, the sale would happen 3 months from now, and the exchange rate to which the future value would be considered would be the exchange rate for September 5 of 2006. and we would use our financial calculator. We would need to be discounting the future value using the 8.52% rate compounded monthly, and the annual PRs would be divided by 12. So in this case, our calculator looked like this. For N, we had a 3 for the 3 months, 12-month period. The interest rate was divided by 12 as well, standing at 0.71%. Payments would be 0, and for our future value, we use the 1,815 gallons multiplied by the 90.15 price. That gave us 163,622 multiplied by the rate of September 5th, 2016, which ended to be $69,277 for the present value of $67,822. For the second case, hedging using a forward contract, the case would look really similar, but instead of multiplying our future rate using the rate for September, we would be multiplying the 163,622 by the rate of the forward contracts given us in the case. That rate ended up being 0.4227, a total of $69,163, which inserted in our financial calculator, having all the same numbers but that future value, we would ending having a present value of $67,710, about $700 less than without hedging. And for the last case, we would be using the money markets in order to hedge. In that last case, we would be borrowing at the Brazilian bank exchange rate of 26%. That's compounded quarterly instead. So for that reason, our N in this case would be 1. For the 3 months, our interest of 27 was divided by 4, so our interest looked at 6.5% in our calculator, and payments would still be 0. And for our future value, we still use that multiplication of 1,815 gallons times 19.50 for the price, having the $163,622. And by discounting all that, we would end up having $67,108.17. About $600 less than in the case we would be hedging using forward contracts. And those were our results for the discounting. For question 2, we realized that not hedging would be the most profitable one. Obviously, you would expose to higher risks since you're not protecting your assets or your positions. That's why we decided that hedging using a forward contract at least would be a safer option. For question number 3, we would ask if the money markets and forward markets were both in parity. For this situation to happen, the money market's real interest rate and the forward market's real interest rate should be or should have the same value. We would find these by subtracting the inflation from the nominal rate, and since all these values are calculated or vary or depending the conditions of the market depend on upon inflation of the country, the inflation should balance the different rate asked by different countries, the nominal rate. For that reason, um, by calculating these real interest rates, we would find a result that would state if the markets are in parity or not. Um, for our calculations, we use the 19.47% nominal rate given in the exhibits of the case. We subtracted that, but for 4.18% of inflation found at Fed, which gave us a money market real interest rate of 15.29%. While for the forward markets, we we found a nominal rate of 5.08%, also given in the exhibits, and we subtracted the inflation rate found in Fed as well for that same year of 3.23%, which gave us a 1.85%, giving us a huge gap, demonstrating that there's of more over 13%, giving us a huge market inefficiency, which allows for us traders to make profits, exploiting this arbitrage opportunity. Moreover, we decided to explain that for interest parity to work, the condition, the following condition should be met. That means that by calculating or multiplying the foreign rate, one plus the foreign rate times the spot rate or the forward rate should equals one plus the rate of the domestic market. The problem here is that the spot rate given in the case, it's not correct, since it's adjusting for a different level of inflation apparently. By saying this and following the equation, the spot rate that would help to meet this condition would have to be about 0.88 and not a 0.4227 as given in the case. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Carlo Bianconi. I'm going to be talking about how profitable will the follow-up order be, and would you make this sale? So first of all, after we carefully reviewed the three different scenarios the company could do for their follow-on order, we think that hedge using the forward contract is our safer bet. We can see that the hedge using money market has a present value of $67,108, which is the least out of the three follow-on orders. The one with the most present value is no hedge, with 67,823, which would be the riskiest of them all. Hedge using a forward contract has a present value of $67,711, but is the one with the most inflation. We chose hedge using forward contracts because we are already buying in dollars, which is less volatile currency than the Brazilian real. Being more volatile means that there will be a bigger interest rate, which we feel that won't benefit us if we choose the hedge using money market. Also, the actual rates may vary significantly from the wholesale rates, which are the ones used in the forward contract. The hedge technique may be too complicated due to a number of steps that are needed, and there are some constraints that may impede its efficiency. No hedge is the riskiest, hence the bigger the present value. The problem with no hedge is that the amount of money can completely change due to the exchange rates since there's no contract. We're comparing all these scenarios to lessen the risk we're going to take, which a forward contract gives us exactly what we want. Plus, if we are placing a major order overseas, then the forward contract will allow us to manage those costs within our budget. Within all this, we as a team would make this new sale and accept the additional order for Novo.